In other words, we surrender our information to these foreign agencies, and then we don't have rights to retrieve that information back to us here in the country. I think it's high time we need to start asking ourselves whether it is safe for us to have these people coming and organizing for our elections. It's high time that Kenyans, we trust ourselves. We organize for our own elections here in this country. In fact, at some point I said, I thought to myself, and I think I may be right or wrong, that even Mololongo kind of voting was even better, because you see somebody lining, behind you. We see people lining behind the candidates. You can never lie that somebody who a line which has got only 10 people will all of a sudden end up having votes more than 1,000. You will see there and then. But you see, these Wazungus, they are the people who came up with this digital voting so that they can manipulate. You know, these are their systems. They are the ones who come install these ICT tools. You know, they know how to manipulate those ICT tools. We have no control. We are using the systems, but we cannot control these systems. I think it is high time now, especially a time like now, that we are on the era of artificial intelligence. And I'm very sure that come 2027, artificial intelligence is going to perform a very great role in the elections that we are going to experience. So our team, the Gen Zs, those ones who are in the IT, they should be able now to look for ways that we can also be at the top of the game. So as we are fighting on the ground, doing these demos, there should be other people who should be fighting elsewhere in the clouds to ensure that we are at the top of the game. Lastly, I just want to say that we should not forget. We should not forget at all those of us who died in the course of this struggle. Those are our heroes. In fact, we should think about sharing their photos all the time. We should never lose sight of these people. We should always remind, even those ones who want to forget, that there are a number of young people who died in the course of this. There are a number of people who have gotten lost, who have disappeared in the course of this struggle. So that we focus. We know that we have not reached there. Any one of us, should not at all imagine that he or she can just leave the course. If you remember, the number of people have sacrificed their lives in the course of this, you cannot betray this cause. So those who are saying that we form a billboard which has all these names, which has all these photos, it will help us a great deal. Apart from that, lastly, we should share these photos in the like now we can attack the pages of these people who are against us. We share those photos of our fallen heroes there. We fill those pages all the time so that we keep on reminding them that they have killed our people. And this can, evoke, those emotions that we need at this particular point. Otherwise, I wish you all the best, even as we continue listening to what our speakers are saying. Thank you.
Asante sana Pius. Karibu sana Ndegwa.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Joe, are you present?
Yes, I'm present. Unanisikia?
Go ahead.
Yes, for me, first of all, I want to thank God for this day. And also, I would want to tell even other guys that despite of us going all through this, by the kila mtu asisahau kuomba, because we are going through a a season where we are losing our young people, we are losing our brothers and sisters. It has come to a point where we also need to recognize God and also tell God that in this fight we are supposed to be together. Me remember that day of parliament. Me hata mtu akopa hivi naweza mtumia hivi picha yangu nikiwa hivi huko parliament. Me that time when we were there, by the way, let me tell those guys who didn't come there what happened. By the after wasa wameingia ndani tukiwa pale ile base ya cafeteria, saa hizo ndo tunachambua kamchele. There came another Mariamu iliingia huko with some guys with some barret who just came shooting. So by that time those who were inside, we started running away, because when we had the gunshots, like we started running away. And by that time, like hata ukumbuki mahali penye simu iko. So when we started running away from the parliament, there were those people who are already inside those buildings. Like kuna wase walikuwa wameingia ndani kabisa. Kuna wase walikuwa wameshaingia huko parliament and inside. So for those who didn't hear saying retrieve, let's run away, like hao ndo wale wase maybe wenye tuliwaluze wenye walikufia huko. So the same way naweza sema ni ati be your brother's keeper. Like tukitokea Nane, wacha tukue tumuungana. Like if you have someone that you are with, be mobilized, be as a group. Move as individuals, because hatujui kama this time utakuwa na guns and stuff. So like wacha watu wa move wakiwa like move with your friend, move with your group of people, so that anytime yenye kunatokea any scandal you can be able to escape. Because the moment, like hata venye wasa wanasema kama hiyo Nane match, the reason as to we are saying that we need people from all over the country, all over Kenya, like wenye wanakaa mtaani jua nini, because when we are many, like we can be able to even overcome this police. Mimi nakumbuka hiyo siku ya parliament, by the way, not ingia parliament haikuanga mchezo. Tulingengana hiyo Kimathi Street tuliteremka vibaya sana. So like nani, because we were many. Kama tungekuwa wase kama 100 ama wase kama 200 hatunge manage. Hata ya JKA si tulitokea. Mimi kwanza nilikuanga JKA asubuhi. Kufika JKA ndo my fellows wanatuambia yenyewe na ile group tulikuwa nayo JKA wanatuambia hapana, tokieni tao. So we didn't even manage to get to town. We demonstrated that in one move. We need to have one dialogue. Kama ni sahi, kama uko hapo hivyo una post anything Twitter, retweet Nane move. And also want also to talk about people being taken to countries like mnaambiwa ati mtapalipua flights free. Me, I went to work for FIFA. Niliwakia maisha yenye huko si maisha nyingi anaweza tamani. Like it's not a good lifestyle. Like ni maisha ingine, like you don't know unaenda kutumua. Unajua even sex trafficking inaanzanga hivyo. Like unapata watu wanachukuliwa huku Kenya wanapelekwa countries kama hizo. You go to be forced to do sexual things and pornography, to shoot pornography videos, and then those two videos are taken from you. They are sold to pornography companies. Now you as a person who came from Kenya, you have been taken there. Wewe umetafuta tu kwa kazi, umeenda huko umetumiwa kama slave, and you cannot go back to your country crying. Those guys have your passport, they have your details, they have your documents there. What you'll have to do is just to have to wenyewe give in kwa trap yao. But when it has come, like we don't want any person falling into that trap. Like say we can create employment in Kenya. Like sasa kuna jobs mingi sana. Mbona hata hizo jobs za construction zipatiwe Chinese? Whereas in Kenya we have engineers. Like they have already, when walikuja Kenya wakajenga barabara ya kwanza, already they are Kenyans who have learned how they can do it like them. So like we can even say like hii contract zinapatiwa China, so acha watupatie pesa kama ni pesa zenye wanatupatianga za kujenga hizi barabara, and then that money we can generate it, we give it to our engineers in Kenya, and let us our fellow men work there. Because when we also involve these Chinese who are coming to work in Kenya, that one is also another loophole for corruption. Like unapata hii barabara ilikuwa itengenezwa na 1 billion. Juu ni Chinese wanajenga hiyo barabara inaikuwa 5 billion. Hiyo 5 billion yote hapo unapata mwenye mpatiwa contract anachukua almost half a billion, mwingine anachukua half a billion. Nikuja at the end of the day, like hata ile donye inatumika kwa hiyo barabara ni negative. Look at even roads zenye Ruto kama hiyo yenye anasema ati inajengwa. Hiyo barabara already ni barabara ya kitambo. Anasema ati dual itakuwa two-way. Two-way kitu gani na already barabara ni two-way? Kwani unajua people are being fooled. And the reason as to why many people are losing, especially the millennials, it is because the millennials are not learned. Because kama mtu amesoma ufai kudanganywa kama mtoto. The reason as to why as Gen Zs we are standing by our paces, because like tunasimama tukijua like this is how the constitution is. We studied for free. We know how the constitution is, and we know what is good for our nation. Like right now, if Ruto must resign, Wacha Ruto resign. This is a country where we it cannot go to anarchy. Already Kenya was place yenye tuko sahi hatuwezi ingia anarchy. Sahi Kenya hata to demonstrate hivi Ruto akitoka. Na hata Kashago. Unajua when you are saying Ruto, we are saying Ruto, Kashago and all his cabinet. Let even the attorney general take over. Let there be another election. Kwani kukikuwa na election, unajua acha nikuadanganya kitu yenye Ruto anataka kuwekea watu kichwa ni ati after yeye ameresign Kenya kutakuwa na vita na kutakuwa na nini. Hakutakuwa na hiyo anarchy because as the Gen Zs, the same way we are going to control him to depart, the same way we are going to control those who are going to start bringing up fights. We are going to wait for those 3 months or those 90 days until we go for fresh re-elections. We have money in our accounts za bank, na hata tukawa wakisema tuwezi fanya re-election, ni heri sisi Gen Zs tuchange to fund your IBC to have fresh elections, and when we elect the president that is going, we are going to elect those people. We need them hanged. How si watu wakusamehea? They have already killed 60 of our Gen Zs. Somebody even one soul, hata wewe mwenyewe ukipotezanga soul moja kwenu, mnamwendangi mazishi ati mkiwa watu wawili ama watu watano, mnaendanga mbogi yote hiyo familia. The same way, hebu niambia watu 60 wenye wameluzua, how many families are crying right now? Hata si wazazi wao tu peke yake, they are relatives, they are even girlfriends who are there are even people who are close to them who love them. So the same way yenye tunasema hizo machungu zenye tuko nazo, wacha hiyo tarehe 8 hiyo mwezi wa 8 yenye na come, let us show up and let us have our brothers who are coming from outside. Kama watakuja, hata mimi nilisema kwangu juja nita host mavijana wawili, hata kama tuko wawili tutahost mavijana juu ile mahali penye imefika like yenyewe sasa hivi mavijana wakuje tusaidiane kuokoa Kenya, because when we remain silent right now, like nobody is going to save us. Sasa tukinyamaza tu hivi, a little wink unasikianga ile like kama ile unafunguanga hivi macho unafunga hivi, like already trouble itakuwa imehappen. Na before hiyo time yenye Ruto watafika point yenye tutafika mahali we won't be able to talk ourselves, because I'm seeing if we lose this nane walk, like watu watakuwa wakitokea, watu watakuwa wame lose hope na agency. So like sasa ni ile like to push, like wasi lose hope na agency. Like kama niyo 8 hata hao wenye wakota kama ni Kisii wenye nimesikia wanakamba. Wao wenye nimesikia wanatoka Kisumu. Wacha hata wenye wanatoka Kisumu. Usitoke hata kama hujaambia mamuri wako, ambia hata wenye wako huko. Wajuangi hata mwezao wamekuja 8. Hata wacha hata kama umepigwa picha huko na watu wengi. Hata upost useme by the way nimeleft huko nimekuja 8. Everybody atakuwa anaona yenyewe umekuja kufaitia country yako. Na hiyo motivation yako ndio itamotivate msee mwingine. Like today I was in
Did we lose Joe?
where I go to gym. Leo nimeenda gym na after we nasema watu watatokea, only 4 wenye walikuwa wanasema watatokea. So I had to convince them and even show them the importance of our country. Mtu anasema ati hizi tokea
Okay, Joe, may you wind up as you check on your internet?
There was someone who was calling me, but I've already declined that call. So what I was saying ni ati hizo orders that watu wanapeana hivi rumors ati kunaweza kuwa na shoot to kill, hakuna kitu kama hiyo. Ujue the moment yenye police wana take over at hiyo order shoot to kill and they start killing people miscellaneously, they will be a threat to our country, because every Kenyan has a right, and the work of our Kenyan military, because those military forces they are trained under our money. They are paid under our money. They are paid under our taxes. So, like the reason when the police are saying that hapa hivi ni shoot to kill, the army will have to take control, because these ones they will become a threat to our nation, and the army cannot allow people to be shot dead, whereas they are in control, whereas they are there, and the money that is being taxed from Kenyans is the money that they are eating and is the money they are buying weapons with. So to rewind with it, me wacheni well, co-host, ni seme a very short word of prayer for those fallen soldiers. Alafu namaliza. What do you think?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Heavenly Father, we want to thank you because of this far that you have brought us. Thank you even for bringing us together as young men. We know it's you who have chosen us so that our world is not going to fall into demonic traps, oh God. We pray that you are going to guide each and every Gen Z. You are going to strengthen them. Those who don't have fear, may you provide for them. And even those who are preparing to come, may you be with them. In Jesus' name we pray and believe. Amen. Mimi nimebarikiwa na nyinyi pia mkoe fiti na wase watokeo na Nane. And thank you Esther and God.
Esther.
Wow, that's so powerful, man. Go
Yes,
ahead,
yes. You know,
neighbor.
Oh, thank you very much. That was very powerful for Joe. Today I've been pensively listening to various submissions, and I cannot see a group that is more determined than this generation. We are determined to be a people in God's kingdom, and therefore we are saying on Nane is a march to freedom, is a march to free ourselves from the bondage of corruption, is a march to free ourselves from the bondage of an enslavement of taxation, is a march to free ourselves from the bondage and the enslavement of unaccountability. It will be a march to speak and to dramatize to the whole world that we are determined to be a people in God's kingdom, and that we are determined to have a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That the dramatization cannot happen without our self-sacrifice. Sacrifice what we have, both financially, and even avail ourselves for that particular day. I believe there are some precursor issues that needs to be done before that. For example, we need to disarm the police by perhaps taking petitions to them, and even IPOA. We have a day within which we are going to occupy IPOA and take a petition and ask them what action has been done. We also need to visit the DPP and ask him to be accountable to us and tell us what he has done for the last 1 month since our comrades were murdered and exterminated. We also need to perhaps plan that a Sunday before the Nane, we'll all occupy our churches, and the message will be that the priest must pray for us on that particular day. We also need to issue notices and very stern warnings to the border community that on Nane we do not want to see any border in town, because they've been used to infiltrate us. They've been used to frustrate our efforts, and therefore we shall give them a notice that any border that shall be seen that day, we will deal with it as though that person is an aggressor. We'll exercise our right to self-defense, because you have a right to self-defense as and when you've been provoked, and especially when you are provoked beyond measure, when we are barely trying to fight for our survival, barely trying to fight for what we are going to for the next meal, barely going to fight for our own and the survival of the future generation. So we shall dramatize on that day, and we shall speak with a loud voice for those who bother us to listen to hear, that on that day we do not want to see any border rider. If you are with a border, we shall take it like you're an aggressor again, and you are against our cause. Number 3, on the question of the posters, there cannot be such a nice idea than that. But we also need to print out small flyers that we shall be able to give in Matatu terminus, and telling them that it's the high time they join the movement. We shall also give them ultimatum that should they also be flying any route on that particular day, it's only for those people who will be coming to join us in the revolution. I am also suggesting that the names of those comrades who lost their lives need to be inscripted somewhere in Freedom Corner. We have a Freedom Corner in Uhuru Park. We need to dedicate a day when we shall forward all these names and go and imprint them where the names of Akina Wangari Maathai are imprinted. They have died and lost their lives fighting for a good cause, fighting for this country, and fighting against William Ruto's impunity. And we need to be clear on this, that we are not just addressing William Ruto. We are also addressing the ineptness of the former DO, the former Member of Parliament of Madeira, Mr. Gachagua. He's as inept as his boss. And therefore, to me, I think we need to have a system where we are going to mobilize resources. I would not lack 2 or 3 shillings, which I can contribute towards the movement, so that at least we are able to get those people who are not in Nairobi to come here in Nairobi on that particular day. So Esther, I cannot just speak more than to commend the process, and those notices must be issued. In the meantime, we are still proceeding with our cases. Remember, we have a case where you want to ask the High Court to declare that Kenyans can hold a referendum to remove an inept government, that Kenyans can hold a referendum to remove an incompetent government, that Kenyans can hold a referendum to remove a brutal president, to remove a president who is merciless, to remove a president who has gone against the wills, norms, and aspiration of Kenyans people. So that matter is coming up, I think tomorrow, 29th, or it's coming up, I think, tomorrow, for directions. Because we want the High Court to declare that we cannot just wait on the incompetence of the Parliament to impeach Mr. William Ruto. We are telling the High Court that where Parliament fails to undertake their constitutional obligation, Kenyans can do that within the means and the 4 corners of the Constitution. We have time and again submitted and insisted that this revolution is constitutionally guided, that we are not going to employ any unconstitutional means or extra-constitutional means. And that is why I was very angry when I saw Mr. Raila Odinga trying to say that he has gone to have a handshake with William Ruto so that he can save this country from military takeover. Which military was taking over? Who said? Who was planning to take over? I believe anybody planning to take over government through those means, and especially from the military, is a criminal. Let Mr. William Ruto and Mr. Raila Odinga give us the names of those military officers who are planning a coup, so that the law then can deal with them effectively. Otherwise, we are not going to fall into the rumor mongering and the scaremongering of Mr. Raila Odinga in efforts to justify his handshake, in his efforts to satisfy his selfishness. So we are telling them that if they knew any military officer was attempting to take over government, let him be taken to court-martial. The law is there. But they could not take it as a decoy to try and drill us and try and drill the process and justify their selfish interest. And therefore, I would encourage you once more, and I know we shall be speaking more on these spaces, that on that day, we need more people, irrespective of your gender, irrespective of your age, diversity, irrespective of your color. The more, the merrier. I want to urge everybody that we should be able to gather much more than we scatter. Anybody who identifies with our cause, irrespective whether you are millennial, whether you are Gen Z, whether you are whichever generation you are, as long as you identify with us, you are willing to sail with us, you are an ally, and we shall embrace you as an ally. So on that particular day, let it be known that this is not a march to freedom for the Gen Zs alone. This is not a march for freedom for the millennials alone. It's a march for freedom from all walks of life, from all generations. Whoever is able to come to the streets, let us send our invitation to them, so that the world will know that we have a 1 million march. And with a 1 million march, wherever we want to go, this country is ours. We can access any place we so wish to go. Even Mr. William Ruto, we can even go and say hi to him. It's a march. It's a march that is meant for Kenyans. So let's invite everybody who bothers to come on that particular day, and a message be sent out there that this is a march to freedom for all Kenyans. Thank you, Esther, for the opportunity to submit. I'm so humbled. Thanks.
Wow. Let's appreciate Ndegwa, maybe with some emojis of your interest. Let's appreciate Ndegwa. Let's appreciate Ndegwa. It is good to appreciate right now. I mean, why you mean with yourself? I mean, just appreciate with some emojis. Thank you. I feel that's the best that we would do, Ndegwa, because of your submissions. I can just see hundreds and celebrations.
Thank you.
So feel appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Esther.
All right, you're welcome. Daudi, Gloria, go ahead.
Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Thank you. Here again, Nane solution kutokea to make our country good. It's the only country we have. Don't have any country to go to. And when you listen to these guys, they are still promising, but whatever they have promised, they have delivered none, zero for 2 years. And as Egwa has submitted, the high time we look at our constitution. How can we remove these guys from power in a manner that is lawful constitutionally? And that much to State House, Nane. I think the high time we get number. People of all ages, all walks of life, all races, all religions. This is our country, we must safeguard it. Lazima tulive in nchi yetu, ni watoto wetu. Tusipoitengeneza leo, I don't think we'll do it then. Because if we don't do it now, tutaachia watoto wetu nchi inakaa aje? A country that is full of corruption, a country that's full of very few rich individuals and thousands of poor people that can't afford a daily bread. Watu hawezi hata pata chakula kwa siku. Whereas wenye wako nazo wanatuimbia, so our taxes we pay them, tunalipa mshahara kubwa, and then again they steal from us, na venye tunalipa mishahara mkubwa, na kenye tunabaki they can't even offer the basic. They can't offer as education, health is deteriorated, no sector is working. Everything in Kenya sasa imekuwa kama lazima utumie kitu ili you get that service. Kama Kodak ukipata job na apply 4 months 5 months down the line hujaipata. Sasa hiyo opportunity unapata imekupata, and yet we are saying we have a working government. What are they working? Wanafanya kazi gani? Kazi yao ni kukaa juu ya magari, kuzunguka wakitudanganya. I think Wakenya si wajinga, watu wameelevuka, and hiyo march to State House lazima tutokee, lazima tumobilize kuku kwa ground, lazima tuongee na watu, fanye civic education, let's educate our parents, educate our aunts, our uncles on this cause. Na wakitujoin, I think the better, tukue movement, tukue watu wengi, ili hata yeye asikie uzito. Lazima tumuonyeshe sisi ndio kusema, au ndio tunachagua, they must work for us. Wenye tunataka, sio wenye wanataka. Akipromise kitu, si kitu ana promise kwa niaba yake. Juu hizo promises, furthermore atatumia pesa zetu. So it's not a favor they do us, bring us to development. It's our light, ni light yetu kufanyiwa. Those are taxes, we pay for these things, and then tukikupea chance ya kutuongoza wewe, kazi yako ni kutuibia, una enlist with you and your friends. Look at the guys that surround this guy, all of them wakona, they are arrogant, they are rich, super rich within no time. Hiyo pesa huwa wanatoa wapi? They are dealing with the government, nafanya contracts na government, leo sisi tunaumia huku chini. So mimi submissions zangu ni tuendelee, let's keep the spirit, must fight for this country. Thank you.
Asante sana Daudi. Gloria, are you present?
Thank you so much. I thought it's me talking. Daudi, kindly mute. Okay. So thank you so much, Esther, Sonko, and everyone here. So first, I would like to comment on some of the things we say, maybe because we don't know. Because some of us, even when you're 18 and there's somebody who is 30, you imagine that person is very old. Yeah. So one of the speakers said that millennials wanadanganywa juu hawajasoma. Millennials can even just be 2 years older than you, because Gen Z inaanzia 99, so huko ma 98, those are still millennials. And even Generation X, even our fathers, and those are people who have gone to school. So let's not just assume that people hawajasoma and all. And on that note, also let me say that we need everyone on board. We need all hands on deck. So tusibague, because now for us to succeed, we need numbers. And that numbers will not only come from Gen Z, but will come from all generations, all like-minded people that we want to support the movement, because we all need a country with good governance. Okay, moving on, I also want to speak on the issue of security. I know we are of pure spirit and we are doing these things with good consciousness, like we are doing it out of clean hearts to change this country. So we are not thinking, so far we've not been thinking as the enemy, but I think it's time now we start thinking like the enemy. We have to be security conscious. We have to think, what would the enemy do? And we've seen what the enemy has been doing. So I'm just cautioning those who are having plans from elsewhere. They've been mentioning Kisumu, Nyamira. You don't have to come and tell us, oh, sisi tumetoka Nyamira, this is what we are planning. No, you don't have to tell us. You could even simply say, sisi ni watu wa mashinani, but we are planning to come. And this is the help we need with accommodation and what. Because when you mention where you are coming from, and you are saying we are mobilizing, and even go ahead to say that we will travel as a group, like you'll go, maybe it's a shuttle. Okay, a shuttle, let's say it takes up 21 people or 14 people. And then you say all of you want to travel there and pay. You can imagine, I am sure, Ruto being Ruto and the security agencies being security agencies, and the way they have behaved, on 6th, 7th, you will find that there will be a lot of roadblocks. Because now already, because they're usually in our forums, they already know that people will be traveling from elsewhere. So imagine finding a vehicle that has people from the same sub-county. Juicy information ziko kwa ID. So you can imagine what would happen. We want to be there for Nane. We want all of us to get to Nane. So let's be security conscious. If you are traveling, you don't have to travel as a group. You'll regroup when you get to your destination. But don't travel as a group. Don't announce. You don't have to announce what you are doing. And then Advocate Ndegwa, allow me to disagree with you respectfully on the matter of serving notices. So you've talked about serving notices to border riders, serving notices to matatu operators or bus operators, whichever public transport. But the message in those notices is what I don't agree with. We cannot behave like the same enemy we are condemning. Ruto and other politicians are having campaigns. Ruto basically is campaigning. When they pay their goons to protest, the goons are given protection. They are not beaten up or anything. But us, when we protest, we are tear gassed, we are killed and all. So let's not behave like them. We cannot now group borders and tell them that let us not see you ride in town. I mean, the same way we have a right to be in town, right to movement, is the same way they also have a right to movement. What if someone wants to continue doing their business on that day? Are we going to stop them? So we should instead be reaching out to these people to help us to support the movement instead of antagonizing everyone. We don't need them as our enemies. We need them as our friends. We need them as our supporters in whichever capacity they're going to support us. So if you say public transport, do not ply any route, how will people get to town or to wherever they're going? Because of course not everyone has cars. How will people get to town? Instead, we should be giving them messages like, we are in this thing to change Kenya. This is how, this is how we've been suffering, and this is why we need change. So kindly see as our brothers and sisters, don't attack us, like give them pamphlets, something that, that asks them to support us, even if they don't come for the protest itself, but do not attack us. Do not be paid by politicians to do this and that. We are your fellow hustlers. Ni sisi wa mnatubeba kila siku. Tukikufa mtabeba nani? Such things, but not notices, telling them that you cannot do this, you cannot do that. No, we cannot be like the oppressor, and we shouldn't. So for me, I think that kind of messaging will be very wrong, and we don't want to look like them. So my final issue also is on the issue of this forming of a party. We've fought this thing for so long, and for good reason, why we want to remain leaderless. But I just want to caution us. I don't know if we watched news, but I think there was someone who was trying to form a party with the name Gen Z. For now, the registrar of political parties said it can't be done because of like it's not inclusive of other, like it's discriminatory or something. But of course, there's a way people can still use the Gen Z, and the movement should not lose that identity. So how do we mitigate against such people who want to hijack the movement? I don't know who sent the person or what, how just one person decides they're going to form a party with that name. So again, I would like to ask Ndegwa, as a lawyer, if you have information on that. Is there a way, even if we are not forming a party right now, that people can put kind of like a caveat on that name, not to be used or to book it for future, opening of a political party or something like that? So let me stop there, and I pray, of course, for those of us who will be protesting and or wherever that we will be. I pray for God's protection. I pray if there are any Catholics here with me, we can start on this day till Nane, we can start the St. Michael Novena, the Archangel prayer for protection. Thank you so much.
Asante sana Gloria. Maybe Bwana Ndegwa, do you have something to say on what Gloria has just pointed out?
You need
All
to
right.
bring me up to speed only 1 minute, then I can make some comments. Sorry, there's a part that I lost. Yes, Esther.
Gloria, you present?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, you can fill
Okay.
me in. There's a part that I lost. My network, I think, dropped.
No, I'm asking about political parties. That are people allowed to probably not necessarily register immediately, but to book a name or to put a caveat on that name not being used?
Yeah. There is what is called provisional registration under the Political Parties Act that allows people to register on provisional basis, awaiting certification of the other requirements. Because under the Political Parties Act, for a party to be fully recognized, you need to at least have a support of 1,000 members in each and every county, and the county must be not less than 24 counties. You also need to have offices in those particular half of the counties, so that then the registrar can issue you with a full French certificate of registration. But in my view, a political party is what we need as the last resort. We are a movement which is much more stronger than a political party. Our voice is much more stronger than a political party. Reason being, a political party will be required by law to have some certain structures which can easily be infiltrated during this time of formative stage of our movement. We would not wish to have at this formative stage a situation whereby individuals within our political parties are being used to infiltrate the process. Don't you also forget that the constitution also allows or allows people to vie as an independent candidate. That is also an option that is available to us at a particular point when the river region has fully matured. But as per now, we need to put pressure and focus on the real issue. And the real issue here is the issue of misgovernance, misrule, mismanagement of our resources, impunity and extermination of Kenyans. We're also facing an existential threat about the globalization of our country. If you look at the way William Ruto has embraced the globalists and how he is entrenching the globalists into our system through legislation, you realize that Mr. William Ruto is not fit to lead, to govern this country any extra day. For example, look at what is pending in the parliament, and I have digressed slightly just to show you the necessity why we must remain together and why our voice must be heard. There's something I tweeted today about the Livestock Act, or rather the bill, which is currently pending before parliament, and it is being sponsored by government. And therefore, the sponsor of that bill in parliament is none other than Mr. Ishongwa. What they are saying in that bill is that they want to completely control the genetics of our animals. That is to mean, if you have a female goat and your neighbor has a he-goat, they cannot mate, because they are proposing to create a genetic center where perhaps things like semen will be deposited, and it will be outlawed and unlawful for any person to have his goat served by the neighbor's he-goat. Equally well, even for the cows, your bull will not be able to serve your neighbor's cow, simply because they want to completely change the genetic composition of our animals. It may surprise you that the globalists are also saying that you'll not even be able to rear nyuki, bees in your compound. You require to be licensed. You'll be required to be licensed for you to sell hives or to manufacture or to make hives. For you to sell to make fodder for your cows, be it napier grass or maize jams or maize silage, you'll need some licenses. That is how the globalization Mr. William Ruto has embraced. Look at what is happening at Mud Island. He has sold it out. The US is creating a naval base there. He has given it to the US. When he was at the US the other day, he signed it. Don't you also forget that he has made Kenya an ally of the NATO's. He's putting us into global positioning that is so injurious and adversarial to our very existence. That is why we must keep a serious eye on this parliament. And if you look at the way he has crafted his cabinet, look at the person who is going to control agriculture. Look at that person. Where him or her, does he have the capacity to understand what a country means without the power of the sovereign of the seed? Because the sovereign of a seed that we used to have, say millet, say sorghum, say maize, say beans, has been suppressed by the globalists. So to me, we must remain focused. And the threat that we have in this country is Mr. William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. and we are going to use constitutional means by exercising our power and our ability to tell him that there must be a stop on these things, to tell him that he's misgoverning this country. And therefore, again, I want to reiterate and emphasize the march to freedom, the freedom to liberate ourselves and emancipate ourselves from the slavery by this man, the march to freedom to rebuild our country, the march to freedom to regain and reclaim and redeem our country. So I am still remaining open. I'll keep on speaking until people listens, so that on that day we do not have saboteurs. Thank you very much, Esther, once more.
Asante sana Ndegwa. Patrick. Igitonga.
Yes, I am here. I think what I wanted to say is Ndegwa has given us a platform on what to go directly. In terms of legal law and how we should go in terms of in a legal way. Nane, for me, I've already said, which was it yesterday or the day before? I said mi nishapata watu 43 na hiyo ni basi mzima inakuja kutoka Meru, ndio hao wanakuja. So let's be clear on our agenda. Ruto must go. Thank you. Pardon?
Asante sana Igitonga. Patrick. Patrick, we can't hear you. Word.
Yeah, thank you, Esther. I believe you can hear me, right?
Yeah, very loud and clear.
Okay, I know a lot has been said and much will continue being said. So I'll just submit my submissions and I'll be very fast on this. First, I've seen the appointment of the IEBC commissioners started today. Now, get ready because our MPs, we need to keep them on toes. We need to see fear, direct fear in their eyes. They need to know that we have the power in us. That is number one. Number two, when someone comes here to give the submissions, look at the agenda of the space today, Nane. You want to give people the morale. You want to put the confidence in people. You are here to motivate people. So when you speak with the confidence. Start with yourself. Speak with that confidence. Ndio wengine, now we will go with that tempo that you've set. So don't come here unaongea ukiwa mnyonge. Sasa we are wondering what kind of revolution itafanywa na ukiwa mnyonge hivyo namna hiyo jameni. Another thing,
MBG, are you present? There's someone who is not here. We cannot hear the current speaker. MBG,
I'm present. I hope you can hear me.
go ahead.
All right. And now I just wanted to react on someone's remarks. I think she said she was, and basically the general conversation that has been going on facilitating and mobilizing people and all that. And this is where I want to make my submission. See, if your problems, the problems you're facing in this country, already they are not motivating you enough to be on the streets, then hata hiyo basi ikikuja ama the facilitation or the arrangement zikifanyika, still that won't be enough. Why am I saying this? Do you really think that we are going for a picnic or for some kind of exchange program that lazima basi ikwe mahali imeorganiziwa mwende mpande? You think the government will just sit like that and knowing the government very well that they play off the books, off the constitution, that watakaa tu hivi wanini watu ngoje waende watu wajipange, waende wapande basi wakuje nai kwenda maandamano. I think this is where guys you guys, we have to be smart. You are smarter than that. People should find their way to the city. In as much as there's a facilitation, yes, and all that, find your way to the city. Use unorthodox means or ways to get to the city. Otherwise, this business of and I made this remarks in a different forum. It's not going to be. Listen, what will happen is any matatu, sacco, or bus company that you guys are going to use to facilitate those guys to come to Nairobi, trust me, the following week license yao itakuwa revoked, or that particular day when those guys, when we facilitate those guys to come to Nai, something can happen. Yes, the bus that they are using can disappear, and the same way that they've been sending goons to come protest, or rather to come do what they have to do, the same way they've been using goons, they will do something to that bus and then use that as a reason to stop any transportation, to stop any basi zote zibaniwe from coming from traveling for that particular night, or rather for that particular day. So please, I say tukue tu wa smart, otherwise that will not happen. We have to outsmart them. They are here, they are listening, they know. Thank you.
Asante sana MBJ. Card Vaza. I meant Card, go ahead, and then Vaza will be next. All right, I feel all of them are not present. Wakutupwa.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay. All speakers wenye nimeita and they're not responding, I'm dropping them. Frederick,
Yo,
go ahead.
can you hear me?
Okay, Vaza, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, go ahead.
Okay, so mimi nilikuwa nasema hiyo day ya hiyo day ya nane mi naweza sema mtaa yetu tuko locked, tunatokea kwa wingi, but sasa story accommodation nitawashow tu story accommodation, and then bado mnanisikia?
Tunakupata.
And then mi nilikuwa nasema hiyo story ya kina nani manze tuache manze kuingilia kina set. So manze story ya kuingiliana manze tuache manze, kila mtu ameplay part yake. So hiyo mambo ya kuingiliana tuache manze. And then manze kuna stuff ingine manze nimenotice manze leo manze. Watu wangu manze sigara imepanda bei. Like manze oh my god. Watu wangu itabidi tumetokea tu roho safi. Jumi mtaani nikipatana na wasee na washoniaji figi imepanda bei juu ya Ruto. Tupata hadi ngwai
Is it my internet or can anyone hear Vaza? Wakutupa, go ahead as we maybe see what's happening with Vaza.
Thank you. Host and KOT Sonko for hosting. Ani mimi, I'm from Mombasa. Ani wale watu ambao wamelipwa huku manzeni wengi, hata sidhani kama nane Mombasa people watatokea barabarani. Let's pray. Ani Mombasa people tutokee barabarani. We occupy the roads. Ani tuombeeni sana, maanake huko there is a lot of confusion. Watu wamechanganywa. Ani mtu kimwambia stories za maandamano kama ni unamwambia sijui aende akafanye nini. Ani mtu they are not interested na mambo ya kuprotest. Ani people wako tu mtaani. Ukimwambia mtu maandamano kama ni wamtukana, mwanzo anaweza hata kukupiga. Wengine akiniona kama hivi sasa hii, maybe niko Twitter, niko Space, anaona kama ninaongea politics. Sasa hivi anaambia tu wasikiza habari, ama wewe kazi yako kufuatana na mambo na wanahabari. Namwambia no. Ani Mombasa sema tu hatuko, umepotezwa. Thank you.
Asante sana. That's very important. We need to maybe check on how to solve that issue. Mariette.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't even know what to say. That guy, from Mombasa. Yani kitu disheartening. Nasikia mse ako real, like to the ground. Na manze ni poa sana tujaribu kuwa encourage. We need to encourage each other. Juu I mean kwa ground story ni different, na wale watu kidogo wakize tu tupe hiyo support ya kutokea hiyo support, I mean, watokee like in large numbers, kama au sasa kama tunaweza hii game vile tuna to beat like Zakayo juu unajua sasa hiyo stronghold yake ni watu kama hawa wanaweza lipa rahisi manze, tunaweza fanya kitu kubwa juu huyu jamaa wa Coast anasema clearly Mombasa sisi hatuko manzi, nasikia hata you can hear him, na sijui ni mechanism gani tunaweza tumia ndio manzi tujaribu ku subside the effect of watu wenye wanaenda against hii kitu tunajaribu kupush juu. The good thing about this movement is we know very well we are here for the positive cause, tunataka tu gava yenye I mean we are based on truth, that's simple. So na Ruto anajua hivyo, na unaona kama sijikani rally moja noma tutaorganize jini aje ama something, we need to revive ourselves, na sio Coast peke yake. I can tell you, unaona hadi Murang'a juzi kulikuwa na hao wase walikuwa sijui kulikuwa na peace caravan. And now you can ask yourself, hii ni caravan gani? Ni wapi kuna pigana Murang'a ama huko ama Kirinyaga, ni wapi kuna pigana? So wanajua kabisa the kind of people, these politicians wanajua the kind of people they want, like when you wanaweza tumia ndio so they can demean us, what we can do like in the shadows like they always do, so kama bado tukiendelea kupush hii Nane I think pia kama wewe umetoka huko Mombasa, try your bit, jaribu kuchanua wasee juu hapo ndo unaweza anzia juu. Sasa I don't think kuna option nyingine ati unaweza sema unajua sasa tuko kwa kona sana sisi, sasa hakuna option tu kusema hivyo, ni kama una retreat sasa, unaona hatuwezi retreat at this point mazeni. So sijui ni aje wewe kwenye tu huko. I was the first one kupinga hiyo juu mimi niko Thika, na I was the first one kupinga hiyo kitu ya peace caravan. Niingilia ni aje juu ilikuwa hypocrite na all that nonsense. Akina wasanii wote ungewaona hapo wakibonga hapo, ilikuwa so disgusting. Na okay, hata hiyo story ya Mombasa Jones anasema lilipo, ukiona hiyo clip ya Governor Joho, sasa sijikani Governor anaitwa CS whatever, so somehow vile alifika hapo, stani kuna anyone fighting for a genuine cause anasema I need Joho like hapo, no to if what you are pursuing is truth, uhitaji hadi kulipa wasee wa kuchia So mimi nasikia tu machungu sana nikisikia msekayo wa Mombasa kusema hivyo, na inaudhi mbaya sana, na the best we can do ni kujaribu kuimprove awareness wherever we are, wherever we come from. Juu hizi spaces zinakuwa mob, na I believe sote tunatoka mahali, so we jaribu your part, maybe hii kitu tunaweza endeleza hivyo mdogo. So by the time unajua hii revolution sio ni kitu ya siku moja ama siku mbili, unaona. So one day tafika mahali sema yenyewe hiyo effort we make count mahali in account and as idea, and that's exactly what we need. So as much as I mean, of course the good guys are always like outnumbered and all that. So wakina politicians wako na do, like they have the resources, so sisi ni kama we are, wametuweka kwa kona kabisa with their elbows on our necks. wakaona kabisa. That's why unaona hadi Ruto sijui ni jana alisema ati Bangladesh walikatiwa sijui internet. I know ni vile tu kuna hiyo overboard ya shame. Angesema watu wengi walikufa Bangladesh kuliko Kenya, he could have said that, but now I find that to be extremely hypocritical. Juu it's like umse vitu anadu, he is like comparing, ni kama sijui tuseme ni yani, ni example gani sasa? Ni kama Cain kujicompare na devil juu kuua mtoto wake, kuua brother wake, yani kuua Abel. Unasema yeah, sijakata internet, people can see whatever they want to say. Anajua kabisa ile madhara wanatuonesha juu kurudisha wasee kama kina Mukome na hapo, yote ni fala. Hakuna mtu alikuwa anataka hiyo, na akisema tu alikuja hapa space, anaenda kuambia watu ushago, ataenda kuambia nilienda hiyo space. It's like his own, I mean, sijui nisemeaje juu mimi nasikia tu nimejaa mbaya sana umse. So wenye ametoka coast, the only word I can tell them is don't give up. Jaribu mahali huko, try to create awareness, say this is where I stand, and we are trying to see that whether you can have a good government, you know, yenye inashughulikia wananchi and all that. Sio tu ya hii ni mediocrity na hypocrisy. Kila mtu anaweza ona every time a politician stands, usikize tu, hata usikize hata dakika mbili, unajua hii ni fala, inaudhi kuwatch. So let's keep the your spirit, tuendelee. Nane is coming. So hakuna kurudi nyuma. Watu wa Mombasa, nyinyi ng'ang'aneni tu, wenye unaweza create awareness hata kama ni kidogo, mali unajua uko safe to at the end of the day. Pia atoki watu wako kama mzee, jaribu kivyako, we create awareness basi, unaweza hivyo tu, usijali, just play your part. Thank you. Yeah, too.
Asante sana. Western, go ahead.
Thank you, Esther. Thank you, KOT. And I salute you all. Patriots, revolutionaries, comrades in arms. One, I wish to say that Ndegwa, I don't know whether he's still here, that it's well and good to invoke the law and to state what provision of the Constitution says what, and what is it that William Ruto has contravened, and what are the remedies, and to even seek those remedies from the courts of law, and to insist that the mass uprising and the movement must operate within the parameters of the Constitution and the law. But I wish to draw attention to the fact that, and this was said yesterday, and some of us have said it time and again, that the judiciary is an extension of the government, is the other arm of the government. And that when you invoke the word revolution, you don't only scare the political elite, you also scare the elite in the corridors of the judiciary and the elite elsewhere, because you want to extirpate, you want to uproot the entire body politic, as in the establishment. So they get scared. So I find it counterintuitive that you would think they will be progressive and help the mass uprising push out only the political elite and think that that wave will spare them. I mean, the movement does have issues with the judiciary. They do have issues with the criminal justice system in Kenya. Why is it that time and again on this fora, people lament why the politicians who have flagrantly broken the law have not been brought to book? Some who have been accused of murder have not been brought to book. Why? Because the criminal justice system is flawed, and it is vicious to the hoi polloi, as it were, ordinary people, and very kind, if not protective, to the political elite and their cronies and friends and allies. So I appreciate where you're coming from, but there's no court that is going to rule that William Ruto could be removed through a referendum. And there's no parliament that is going to impeach William Ruto. The Kenyan parliament is as dead as a dodo. And in fact, with the coming of Raila Odinga on board, it's even emboldened. It's even emboldened in protecting Ruto and acting against the people of Kenya. I mean, they're very brazen in what they're doing. They don't hide it. You know, very bold, very bullish, very brazen. So I like your optimism, but I think not much is going to be achieved through that option, because the same courts, for instance, in the recent past, have made fairly strange rulings. For instance, the newly introduced health scheme. Well, it's in contravention of the law, but we're giving you time to rectify it. That's bizarre, isn't it? That's bizarre. And you're going back into history, the same courts also ruled bizarrely when people went to court to challenge the appointment of certain individuals to the positions of chief administrative secretaries. And the court said, look, these positions are not provided for under the law, but the individuals who have already been appointed to these positions, they're earning salaries, they're waking up in the morning and going to office. We're not going to disrupt their lives. They can as well just continue. Hopefully next time whoever comes into power will not behave like this. That was under Uhuru Kenyatta. William Ruto came into power. He attempted to do that, didn't he? So it's not like we don't know these courts. There are some progressive justices in the judiciary in Kenya, but then it's like you're hoping that you'll get one of them. And there are a number of people who are on the take, a number of people who are very reactionary and very much out to protect the establishment. And the one-party legacy, the question I pose to you, if the Kenyan political elite have not weaned themselves off the one-party legacy, you know, thinking along tribal lines, you know, dividing Kenyans along tribal lines, brazenly breaking the law and getting away with it, you know, deploying violence against dissent, against protesters. Why do you think that the judiciary, you know, they are spared of that kind of legacy? And I can tell you for free, when a society is corrupt, one of the casualties is usually the rule of law and the judiciary. If you're corrupt, you will want to capture the judiciary. You will want to interfere with the law. You will want to have people in the corridors of justice who will do your bidding. When you break the law, you send those who are aggrieved to the courts of justice, and you are pretty sure they will encounter your people there who will block them. Why? Well, this is rational choice. People do things when they know that they've blocked you, regardless of what avenue you deploy. So, well, it's okay, it's fine, but I think Article 1 is sufficient. That's enough. that people are protesting, they're expressing that disgruntlement, and that's within the law, and it provides for that. Secondly, I want to just emphasize on a revolution, a mass movement, as it was said earlier. It has to bring everybody on board. Everybody on board. And people who don't appreciate what's going on, it's incumbent upon us to appeal to their reason, to their logic, so that we win them over. We win them over. We cannot have a revolution. We cannot purport to be disgruntled by injustice, by corruption, by impunity, and at the same time want to discriminate against some people, regardless of what they do. So much so that these border guys, actually, they're victims. They're victims. A politician who goes to a bank or to their own room and takes money and goes to distribute that money to these young people is the problem. Because he's the one who's created poverty. He's the one who's denied these young people opportunities in life, so that he abuses them. So they're victims, such that even in international criminal law, there's something called command responsibility. What does it mean? It means when mass atrocities are committed, the law will be more interested in the mastermind. Who bought booze? Who bought marijuana? Who did what to give to those young people in that ragtag army or the militia to go and commit atrocities? Charles Taylor, for instance, in Liberia may not have committed, although he was in the battlefield, but he was tried and convicted and jailed because of the militia that he presided over. The same way the former Congolese vice president, Jean-Pierre Bemba, he was tried and convicted by the ICC for the atrocities that his people, troops under his command, committed in Central African Republic. Of course, he was acquitted on appeal. So it is the people who are enlisting the services, in quotes, of these young people that we should be concerned about, not these young people per se. These are victims, and we have to rescue them, because it's a system that, takes advantage of their dire economic situation to set them against the movement. So they may not be enemies in the real sense of the word. The enemy is the state and this political elite who are abusing these young people. Finally, it's the peace. Fellow compatriots, we have to ask ourselves why we have people in Kenya. They may be from the religious fraternity, they may be from the political fraternity, or they may be from the entertainment fraternity, who, when people are raising issues, it may be issues about elections, inconclusive elections, the veracity of the elections, the credibility of the elections. People are raising valid questions. Suddenly, there's this peace caravan that emerges from nowhere. The peace industry, the media will run with the story, and
May you wind up?
Yes, I'm landing. Why do we invoke peace before we invoke justice? Why? There's something wrong with that. Because peace is a byproduct of justice, and justice emanates from truth. So when we sidestep truth, we sidestep justice, and we invoke peace, that's why perennially we have got these problems. Cyclically, after every 5 years, we have got problems because we have completely ignored the aspect of justice. We have ignored the aspect of truth. So we are dancing at the same spot, time and time again, but it's deliberate. So be very careful, be very cautious, be very circumspect about people who are quick to invoke peace, but at the same time, they're enablers of injustice. Thank you.
Asante sana Western. Gwaro.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the chance. I want to thank all the leaders who are with the movement. I want to thank maybe the organizers of such a spaces. We have learned a lot through these spaces. And because the topic is Nane, I want to talk about an idea that maybe we can work with. These guys who have followers for the, like many followers, for the remaining days, you can be sharing zile nyimbo za uzalendo, zile nyimbo za ukombozi, so that guys can be maybe waendelee kuzipractice. On the Nane day, if we can get volunteers, say madramas ama drummists, so that tukitoka, it's a Nane march, we will not be like chanting. Our messages will be maybe pictorial, tutakuwa tumeweka maposter, if it's Ruto must go, anything, but sasa kwa hapo kwa tukimarch, we'll be doing the nyimbo za uzalendo. I don't think huwa kuna polisi hata kama aliajiriwa akiwa na grade gani, akiwa na kichwa yake mzuri kana shoot at ama kana tear gas wase wenye wanaimba nyimbo za uzalendo as they march. So it's my appeal kuwa these guys wenye wako na some good followers, some good number of followers, waingie for the remaining days, they share the songs of uzalendo so that wase wengi can practice them. Ikifika hiyo day, tusichant sana, tuimbe tu nyimbo za uzalendo, tuende tusalimie huyo msee, and then everything will be good. Another thing is I've seen people asking me, kesho kuna maandamano, mbona mnaandamana? And I'm like, tutaandamana daily if possible. So I have a neighbor here is like, ukiandamana daily tutakula nini? I'm like, tutakula tear gas. Tutakula tear gas, tutakula hizo risasi wanatupiga, tutakula what the government is providing. Because apparently that's what the government can provide for now. So if that's what the government can provide and it's not providing solutions, wacha tukule what is available, ndio at least we get wase wenye wanaweza to sort in the future, in the near future. So endelea kueducate our wazee. There's these people who don't like hawaingi internet sana. They don't know what's happening. Today I had to convince some 3 women here who were like, nanyi mnatusumbua sana na maandamano. I'm like, let me enlighten you. Kuna hii bill iko pending ya livestock. If it goes through, itamaanisha this and this will happen. And wako like, aya, kama ni hivyo nyi andamaneni. So if we get to enlighten this older generation, wazae pia tuwaambie vile kunaenda, hatuandamani because tunapenda kuandamana, tunaandamana because we need a better future for our generation, because apparently tukinyamaza saa hii watu wetu hawatapata anything. So we push na hawa si wenye wanalipwa, we try to like try to convince them kwa hii something si ya government, hii ni kitu ya maisha na ni yetu. Tusipowika saa hii hapa mbele hatutakuwa na letu. Thank you for the opportunity. Nane iko intact, tukutane. Thank you.
Asante sana Gwaro. Frederick, are you present? Frederick, are you present?
Yeah, I'm present. Unasikia?
Hello. Tunakusikia.
Yangu ningesema tuseme, nikiongelea upande wa football, tuseme tu corruption imeenea kila mahali, na yet tulikuwa tumeona Nick Mwenda alikuwa asha resign. Wenye Ruto alimuingiza kwa kurani football yetu, FKF iko rotten through corruption ya kutoka kwa CS wa sports na tukienda mpaka kwa federation. Kama saa hii unapata timu imelipa affiliation fee, wanacheza tournament kuanzia grassroots, wanacheza ligi hakuna kitu, na yet wametoa affiliation fee, wanalipa referees, ligi ina run, lakini at the end hakuna kitu wanapata. Ile kitu wanapata ni certificate of appreciation. Ukienda kama tuko na Premier League Paligora wanacheza, FC Leopard wanacheza, wanatumia a lot of money kama kusaini wachezaji, wanatumia pia pesa kutravel, na yet pesa wanashindania ni milioni 3, alafu ligi imechezwa karibu almost 1 year na hakuna kitu recognition. Yani tu ni milioni 3 unapigania hiyo, mara una travel kutoka Nairobi unaenda Kisumu, una travel na bado pesa tena. Pia hapo ukiangalia hapo hiyo level, pia referee walipwi. Hapo ndo tunapata kuna hizo match fixing, unapata kuna hizi betting companies zinatumia mareferee ku fix matches, unapata hizi bado betting company ndo zinatumia madefender wa teams kuweza ku fix match, kwa sababu hakuna do. Corruption imeenea kila mahali, na yet FIFA ina release pesa inakuliwa na serikali pamoja na federation. Sisi kama marefari wachezaji, sisi ndo tunaumia, hakuna mtu wa kututetea. Nia Ruto anafaa tu kuenda pamoja na regime yake ya Nick Mwendo na hao CS wenye wanaleta kwa sports, hawasaidii football yetu ya Kenya, inazidi kuzorota. Hata wasichana bado wana feel like wako discriminated, wanashindania milioni 1, wana travel leta, hakuna kitu wenye wanapata. Tuseme tuko na poor governance hii Kenya, both sports kila mahali. Nimemalizi hapo.
Asante sana Frederick. Patrick.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me? I want to shine.
Tunakusikia, go ahead.
Thank you, Esther, and all the members who are on this panel today. There's some noise in the background. I don't know who has left the mic on. I want to say that the Nane resolutions, number 1, on Nane, let us come out in large numbers. I want to remind you, my dear people, you remember the day when Raila was being sworn in as the people's president. We went to Uhuru Park on that day, and we're in our thousands. And when we were marching to Uhuru Park and the police were all over, we were telling them, they are shooters, we are also armed. That was just our own propaganda we are spreading to them. And as we were gathering in Uhuru Park, people were walking and we are telling the police, don't dare to shoot us because we are also armed. That sent word to all the intelligence, and on that day, they never dared shoot. So the same tactic we can employ. When we are doing our march, we tell the police, we are marching peacefully, we are going to express our sovereignty. Because we have been having peaceful demonstrations, the police have been shooting us. So this time around, we are marching peacefully, and we tell the police, please don't dare shoot us, let us exercise our sovereignty. The other issue I want to raise is this. What we are doing is constitutional. There's an article in our constitution which says the president can resign. When you read that article, it is tied to Article 1, which says you can exercise your sovereign will. When the people rise up and express displeasure in the kind of leadership that there is, then the president and his team have no option but to resign. So what should make us very angry now is this new called broad-based government that has started between Ruto and Raila. I can tell you, if things were worse under Ruto, then the joining of Ruto and Raila is going to be much worse. We cannot allow that kind of a situation because now our parliament is one. ODM and UDA has united. And the worst they can do, in fact, they can carry out a constitutional amendment. They have supermajority. These are the kind of things that we should rise up and stop on Nane. And I'm hearing some people come with ideas of peace, what. Those who are talking about peace, I'm going to invite them to go to City Mortuary and address those people who are killed, go to the hospitals and visit the sick. Those are the kind of things they should do. Let them stop this nonsense. They are talking of peace, so that they want the peace to continue and continue looting and raping our economy as they're used to. These are the issues, my dear friends. On that day when we come in our large numbers, I can assure you of one thing. The military, the police will have only one choice. Either they shoot the president or they shoot 1 million people. If we come out in all large numbers and we are demanding that President Ruto must go, the military and the police have no option. I've never seen anywhere in any revolution where the military has turned on its own people. I've never seen it anywhere. So the challenge we have is to get as many people as possible on that day. Let us come into our millions. When we are in our millions plus, they can never dare shoot or do anything like that. And I can tell you on that day we shall occupy State House grounds, and the president will really find it rough to operate, and he'll now just surrender. That is the only thing. That's why they're trying so hard to block us from getting to CBD. We gather in CBD and all places, and from CBD we march. If they dare try to disrupt the people, 1 million people in CBD, then the whole of CBD can go down, because it can be worse. They can never dare do that, I'm telling you. They dare try to disrupt 1 million people in the CBD, it can be worse. It can be worse. So my submission is this. Let us come out in large numbers and let's stay the course. And Ruto and Raila uniting is going to be worse for our country, and we should stand as a people and say no and move on as a country. Thank you.
Asante sana Patrick. That is very insightful. Mzalendo.
Yes, I'm here. I hope all of you are good. Yeah, I just wanted to say we need to start being radical and not joke with this issue. Because, we are saying we are peaceful, but it's like we are at war. It's not a joke. Because, these people have all the resources on earth. You guys saw there were 2 choppers the other day when you said we are going to JKIA. There were cops literally everywhere. And when you come over here and start saying now, tuko down, sijui nini, lazima tukue serious. Tusipusi, tusikue tunaogopa anything. Tukae strong. Juu sasa penye tunaenda si jokes. Na tukianza kukua na different opinions ni vibaya sana. Alafu on being radical, I wanted to say we should have like hiyo space ya Amerix ya Sunday. Inaweza kuwa na all big wigs. Ndio isikae ni joke. All big wigs watapull very big numbers. Na tunapanga strategies. Si kwenda kwa space kuanza kuongelea maji. Tunajua hizo vitu zote, minerals, sijui nini, hizo vitu zote tunajua. Historia kuja kuongelea the same problems bila kupanga. Sasa nyinyi mna joke na watu wako na funding yenye hawa si wako nayo, na nyinyi mnasema we are peaceful. Bro, we need to be serious. Because at the end of it all, mimi na risk life. Atujuani na most of you hapa, but mimi na risk life yangu. Niko na 2 kids. Sasa ni noma jo. Mkisema ati tunarudi chupa, lazima kama ni kutokea tunatokea. Hakuna story ya kujoke. That could be my submission. Let's be united. Hakuna story ya kusema ni Gen Z. Everyone is in this. It's a Kenyan. Unajua story ya Gen Z ni divide and conquer. Inafanya ikae ni kama hawa si ndio wanafaa kwenda kutupigania. Because tukisema tunatokea alafu hiyo day biz zote ziko open. Hata mimi nikitoka, when I'm coming from my home headed to where the protest is, all businesses are open. It's like, are we soldiers? We cannot be we are the ones dying for people. People have to come out, try and pass the message, do civic education everywhere you can. If you hear somebody talking like he's not sure of what, educate them. Sasa tukisema ati tunakufa roho, ni noma jo. Thank you guys.
Very insightful, Zalendo. Okay, Wakili, are you present? Wakili, are you present?
Thank you very much, Esther. Yes, I am. I want to salute everyone. I don't have much to say today other than to encourage people to continue with this conversation and to also remind everyone, wherever we are, in whatever we are doing, that for the success of the desires that we have of this country to take effect, we must teach and train people. If you look at how on 25th and from 18th to 25th, let me just use those 3 days, the 3 days we went for protest in very large numbers. One thing was common. Civic education was very much rampant. People were being trained on what the bill is talking about, the possible effects of when such a bill passes. So it is upon each and every one of us to this clamor for change to also remember it applies to even all the people that are occupying positions. We need to start holding. If you're in Samburu and you have a governor there who is misusing public funds, you hold them accountable. If you're in Kajiado, you start also clamoring for these changes, because the conversation can only gain the momentum if we continue enlightening our parents, our siblings, so that they realize that this issue is not just affecting the younger population, but is affecting everyone. Because when they don't appreciate the issues, they may always think, and that's why you find the president has is using the same gimmicks. And I saw another member of parliament of called what, Molo Kimani Kuria, hiring the boda guys, taking those the normal gimmicks they have always used for cosmetics of politics, cosmetic politics. So it is upon each and every one of us to enlighten our people, to enlighten our siblings, to enlighten our family members, to enlighten our friends, to enlighten our community on the concerns that we have. We pick out specific matters. If they are farmers, you tell them to understand what the bills affecting the issues of livestock, especially if they're pastoralists, what is going to happen to them. Is an issue that affects your area about unemployment. Is an issue that affects the issue of water supply, clean water supply to be addressed. Because it is these real life-based issues that also will help to give people the motivation to be able to also demand for better Kenya. And that is the only way that everyone, even our family, even in churches, when you go to church on Sunday, ensure you spare a minute or two to talk. If you're an advocate here, if you are an accountant, in whatever field that we come from, kindly pick up an area, train your youth, train your people, and that is the only way the people can appreciate this. And personally, I've been trying to do that, and I know there are so many people who are doing that, and the LSK has been on the forefront doing a lot of civic education. But I want to request all of us to take that upon themselves, because for anything to be successful, the masses must be informed. Because if they're not informed, you need to remember that the government has the monopoly of violence. It has the monopoly of resources, so they can use that to try and push their narrative. But we can only counter it if people are more informed and they are more enlightened in these issues. So that's the few things I wanted to mention, and to also continue encouraging every one of us here. We continue with the vigilance and continue engaging and discussing and proposing ways that we can make this country better, not just for us, but even for the future generation. God bless you, and God bless Kenya.
Asante sana wakili. I notice that we need to keep this pace going. May someone just buy data directly for Marvin Mamboga, because he's traveling from Mombasa to Nairobi because of what was happening today from Mombasa. So kindly, we can channel something to him so that he can buy the data and keep the space running. I recall there was a time also myself, but mine was solar that was not charged. So someone was ready to pay the data so that I continue the space. Yes. let us be kind. I know it's not easy, but let us be kind. The number is on top here. May we just be kind? Let me just confirm whether has received something. Channeling cash, it's very fast, so I expect it's already channeled. I mean, maybe someone might be asking, what of me do I have? I mean, right now I do not have, but I am sure there's someone present here who can channel that. We need the space. Continue. So,
Yes, yes.
Debo, you are saying something?
Yes, I want you to read out the number.
Okay.
I think I can see the number on top of the.
I can't see it myself. Oh, I got
Click on
I got it.
KOT.
I got it. I got it.
You have sent something too, Esther.
Let me just confirm whether everything is sorted. Just a minute. All right. Let's proceed. Asante sana wakili. Mzalendo, go ahead.
Thank you so much, Esther, for this opportunity. I would like to start by saying that I'm very grateful for the submissions that fellow patriots are putting ahead. And I would like to encourage us. I would like to remind us that, however, it doesn't matter what weapons Ruto has. For us, we have two major weapons. Weapon number one is the masses, and weapon number two is anger. If we put those two weapons and exercise them well, I tell you, I remember the day of Baba while you were away. We had the masses. They could do us nothing. Mi sikwenda hiyo siku ya swearing in, but I went there siku ya Baba while you were away. We were there in numbers. And I remember also on the 25th, I was in town. We were there in numbers. So when we come out in numbers, we overwhelm everybody. I read a book whereby the writer was saying that no weapon can kill 1 million people. In fact, if he has a weapon that can kill 1 million people, then it means he himself will also die, because that could be a nuclear bomb. So I encourage all of us, no weapon will kill 1 million people. Let's go there and let's accomplish the mission. The number two, maybe I was asking Wakili Ndegwa. Wakili, I have a petition asking Parliament not to maybe to reject some of the cabinet secretaries due to some reasons that I might not say here. So I know the deadline is tomorrow. I have done it online. Is it necessary to take it also hand delivery? And how am I supposed to get it there by hand delivery? Kindly, Wakili.
I think Esther, that's very good, and I would encourage people to submit their memorandums in large numbers. It's important that we forward it to the clerk, the National Assembly, physically, so that nobody says that he or she has not received that particular petition or memorandum. So it is important that we submit it physically, so that the clerk of the National Assembly will not start alleging that he has not received it. I think that is the best procedure that we can undertake in the circumstances.
So, Wakili, maybe before I
Yes.
drop, I have a hard copy. Do I deliver it to Parliament tomorrow morning, or what do I do?
Yes, you should deliver to Parliament addressed to the clerk to the National Assembly.
Yes, yes.
Yes, that's a procedure.
Okay, and does he need to give an acknowledgement of receipt?
Yes, he must. Sorry, he must stamp receipt to acknowledge that you have received it, and then we shall follow it up. That's where you represent yourself and argue a case before the committee. We have also done the same about several ministers. Thank you.
Asante sana mzalendo. Jojo. Daktari.
Yes, Esther.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone on board, KOT, Esther, and all the speakers and members present. Thank you very much for keeping the fire burning. Leo mazee, mimi nimekuja hapa tu kutuambia tusichoke. I have heard people speaking na ninasikia kama watu wengine wameanza kutia uoga, wengine wameanza kuchoka. Hata yule ndugu wetu kutoka Mombasa, ningependa kumwambia tafadhali tusichoke. We have come a long way and we did not come this far just to give up. Yeah, if we were to give up, then we should have given up on day one before we started losing people. But on the lives of 60 plus that we have lost, and many people still missing, and many families in pain, we cannot afford to give up at this stage. So let us carry on. Let us be encouraged by all the negative things that are still happening in our society today. So tafadhali, tuendeni mbele, let's stand tall. We've come a long way. We've made several wins, and we are just about, the hours might look, so things might look like we are cornered. We are in a tight spot. But to me, I look at it as that darkest hour just before dawn. So it's the darkest hour before dawn. Brothers and sisters, don't tire. Let not your hearts be discouraged. Believe in the cause that we have believed in since we started. Believe in the gains that we want to make going forward. Because I want to maybe just react to a comment from one of the speakers earlier on to the effect that whatever our good friend Wakili Ndegwa and the team are doing to present petitions to Parliament is an exercise in futility. I want to appreciate but disagree with that position. I think the correct position is that this battle must be fought in every possible front. If we don't present those petitions before Parliament, before the courts, this rogue regime may be tempted to think that we are okay with everything that they are doing. So we must fight on all possible grounds. And these I have said before. We must have different wings, different people, making use of what they have at hand. If it is their profession, like Wakili Ndegwa and his team, making use of law to help us fight this, so be it. If it is the artists, unfortunately, many artists seemed to have just been interested in the finance bill. I don't know why many of them are now not actively on board like they were the other time. But again, that should not discourage us, because kwa hii safari kila mtu akona stage yake. Kila mtu atashukia kwake, wengine walinunuliwa from the other time, we remember. Wengine wakanunuliwa baadaye, wengine watashuka kesho. So let everyone alight at their stage. But what I can assure you, at the end of it all, there will remain a faithful remnant that will carry this message and this fight to its conclusive end. The battle lines are drawn. We cannot step back at this stage. So let us, whatever Wakili is doing, please let us do it. We must do it even when we know that the courts are 90% or 100% likely to rule against that petition. We must be able to present petitions to the vetting committee of parliament, even when we know that they will rubber stamp what this rogue regime has given to them. We must present petitions so that they know whatever they decide to do with it is none of our business. Our constitution allows us to do it. We shall do it. Our constitution allows us to gather on Nane. We shall do it. And let no one tell you that when we stand to fight for our rights and for good governance and accountability, then we are destroying this country. If standing up for good governance is equivalent to destroying this country, then so be it. Let us also contribute our fair share to destroying it, because it seems then that everybody is destroying it. The political class are destroying it by looting 2 billion a day. The police are destroying it by spilling innocent blood when we step out to fight for our rights. So, if going out to say that we want good governance is destroying it, then let us also happily and boldly contribute our fair share to destroying, quote unquote, this country. Amani, amani, amani. Hata Waswahili walisema amani haiji ila kwa ncha ya upanga. Ila kwetu sisi, upanga wetu si upanga wa force. Upanga wetu ni upanga wa the numbers that we have, the anger that boils in us, the great vision that we have for this country, the good thoughts that we have for the future of this country, for our children and our children's children. Let no one tell you are destroying this country. Someone who has brought up their children and grandchildren, and they have left enough, more than enough. They have stolen from us and left more than enough for thousands of their generations. They will never see hunger. They will never see poverty. They will go to the best schools they want. But for us, if we don't fight for ourselves, I work at the university and it pains me every time I go to administer exams and I see students are missing from that class because of fee. You know, when you've spent a whole semester teaching and you even have these favorite students who are doing very well in class, then at the end of it all, I am told they are not here. Why? Because of fee. It pains me every semester. This August, now we are on long holiday. I wish our students were on campus. It would have been easier to mobilize from all these campuses so that Nane would have also gotten the benefit of the numbers from our public institutions. But it so happens that most universities are on a regular long holiday at this time. They're coming back in September. But this August, I'm going to administer supplementary and special exams to students, some of whom just did not have fees, so they were barred from sitting the regular examinations. It pains me when I have to set exams a second time for students because of school fees. And it's not only students who are suffering. The anger in us must push us to do what we have to do. The lecturers like us are also crying because the situation is not good. So please, if you have nothing that can encourages you at this moment, let the far we have come encourage you. Find encouragement in everything that you can do. We did not come this far just to give up. We have nothing to fear, except we forget how these revolutions have been fought and won in the past, including under very difficult circumstances. The Maji rebellion we read in history, I always remember, it took them to build faith when they had nothing. that woman called Kinjekitile had to convince them that they would just take water and some millet flour, and it was water from a particular river, and millet flour, and it would make them immune to the German bullets. And for as long as they believed on that course, even the Germans feared to fire their bullets because they thought that these people were immune to their bullets. It took them time to come and realize that, oh, they were just played. Nobody was immune to the bullet. My friend, we must believe in this cause and we must carry it forward. Sometimes when I get discouraged, I always find something to encourage me. Today, one of the things that encouraged me is when I logged online and I came across a video from one of our comrades, Joshua Okayo, that president of the laws of KSL, the Kenya School of Law, who was abducted and dropped somewhere a few weeks ago. And I saw him in a matatu spreading the gospel of this revolution to the people on board. And he was telling them, he was finding it very difficult to convince them. And somebody was shouting, I think he was drunk, shouting. And I was encouraged when I saw fellow travelers, fellow passengers, actually reprimanding him to keep quiet and listen to this message. How can we be discouraged at this time? When somebody on their own volition can stand on a matatu. Maybe you have never imagined that you could be a street preacher or preaching in the buses, but that guy stood in the bus to pass this message to people, and he told them, we need to come together, we need to hear what this movement is saying. So my friends, don't be discouraged. One other thing that encouraged me today is when several people reached out to me, unknown to me. Several people reached out with messages of goodwill telling us, you are on the right course, you must continue, you must explore all possible ways to ensure that this movement does not die. How can I get discouraged when people are telling me that, both from here and from abroad? Please, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, do not be discouraged. If we don't do it, we are doomed. If we do it, we have the hopes that we have a future for ourselves, for our children, and for the children of our children. This revolution is the only thing we have. While this revolution for us, who have not been, who are coming from scratch, as I was saying, is the only thing we have against a people who have all our resources at their disposal, who have all the state machinery and power at their resources and at the disposal of their children and the children of their children and their posterity. For us, this revolution is the only thing we have. We must fight for a sustainable country. We must fight for good governance. My friends, don't be discouraged. Let's keep on. We will pass this message whatsoever. I saw in some space yesterday, some people also downplaying all these things that we are doing. And as we said, let us keep focused. If we say Nane, let that be the subject. Don't listen to distraction. Any fights on social media, sijui Maverick, sijui anapigana na Anifa, Boni, sijui anapigana na nani, wanarushiana maneno makubwa sijui wapi, those are meant to discourage us. Those are meant to distract us from the main course. We cannot be distracted when the enemy is already on the campaign ground. And he knew we have an enemy that thinks that the tactic he used to get into power can still help him to retain power in the next election. That is why he has gone to the campaign trail. It worked for him last time. It behooves us, ladies and gentlemen, to ensure that it doesn't work for him this time around. So we can't be discouraged. If we step out now and the enemy is already on the campaign trail, what are we saying? How will we stand against the blood of our comrades that paid the ultimate price? Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Let us keep strong. Nane is the name of the game. Thank you.
Wow, that was very insightful. I mean, Amen. Let's appreciate ourselves for what we have done on data. It's good to give flowers when we are alive. I mean, just put some emoji of appreciating yourself for good work. Thank you, thank you. An emoji, an emoji, an emoji, an emoji for appreciating ourselves for what we have done. Thank you. All right, let's have Liz and then Josephine.
Hello, can you hear me, Esther?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just want to take the first opportunity to say thank you, Esther, for holding fort. And thank you for sharing the information about KOT traveling, because I've been on this platform for a long time. I went out and came back in. The conversation was a bit different, but he had not spoken. So it's good to let us know that he's on the way, and we pray for his safety as he's traveling from Mombasa. So earlier we had a conversation that was going on about political parties, and people had come in saying political parties will give us a negotiation platform. And I wasn't able to chime in at that time because I was dropped, and then I had to come in and join on the queue. So I just want to go back a little bit to that and say that at this point we are not in a position to have political parties, and I think Ndegwa was able to chime in on that and say the same, that political parties will be a form of distraction, and it will remove independence that we have right now. So we don't want to get an avenue of manipulation, because once we have a political party, then the political class will have a way of maneuvering through us, and it will force us to have leaders as well, which is something that we are against. We have continuously said that we are leaderless, we are partyless, and we are also fearless. So the people who are championing for political parties, I think those are voices that are looking for avenues to get us to be exploited, or are looking for avenues to gain money from the political class. And we do not want to negotiate with the government at this time. We have given them our requirements, and they have not been able to deliver them. So the idea of political parties, I strongly I'm strongly against it, and I'm sure some people who have joined now are not understanding why I'm speaking about it, but earlier it was one of the main discussions that we have. I recommend that we continue staying fluid. That way, they do not know where to attack, because the moment we say we have a political party, that means we have a leader. And that is how they are going to attack us. They are going to twist those leaders. They are going to corrupt those leaders. They are going to buy them. And at the end of the day, all this movement that we started in June is going to go to waste. So let us just remove that out of our minds. We are not going to be cowed, or to be swayed to register a party, or to be called a Gen Z party, or whatever it is. I am totally against that. Another thing I wanted to chime in was civic education. That was another conversation was here earlier. And on civic education, we know government normally gives us civic education programs and platforms when elections are nearing. And these programs are never as strong as expected, right? So what I was thinking is, this platform on this space, this is where this revolution started. Why don't we make it stronger? Let this be our civic education platform. Wherever you are, if you're here, I'm sure you're able to have data. So if you have an opportunity, you can share this platform with the Mama Mboga. You can have your Twitter space, put it on speaker, and have your Mama Mboga or your Boda Boda guy, or the people around you, or even the young men in the estates who do not know about this platform. And let us share these spaces with them. Let us know, because we know the mainstream media has already been has been compromised at this time, as we saw in the past protest that we had. They gave us a total blackout, and if you continue relying on them to show what is going on, we are going to get we are not going to get any audience, right? So this is the platform that we have, all social media platform. If we are even able to make it stronger and stream it live on YouTube, stream it live on TikTok, stream it live on Facebook, and even have a radio station that is aligning with us and stream live all this conversation, I think this can be a very good opportunity, because I can speak for me as a person, being on these spaces since this revolution started. I have learned a lot more, and my knowledge has increased compared to compared to the amount of information I have learned from the government-sponsored civic education programs. So I am here to encourage us, the people who have the technical ability to expand these places, to make it stream live on other platforms. Please, we need your support, and we are willing to learn. Like for me, I'm willing to learn. How can I make this bigger for the people in my area? How can I ensure that Mama Mboga gets this knowledge, right? Because sometimes you're riding with a boda guy and he feels like the people who are protesting are interfering with his business, but he doesn't know that it is through this protest that boda can turn into a matatu and turn into a bigger business. So we need to go out there and enlighten these people. And in this platform, we have everything we need in this platform. We have people who have the ability to be presidents here, and we have people we have advocates who are enriching us with this knowledge. We have people who can be cabinet ministers right on this platform. So let us not feel like we are small. We have everything we need here. The political class is taking advantage of us because they think we are still in the Moi era, where people feared authority and people could not question power. But we are enlightened, we are learned. It's only that we have not gotten to that point of being a president or being a cabinet minister. But we have enough resources on this platform. Let us not make it small. Let us expand it. Let us get those opportunities. Enlighten us, also us who don't know. Enlighten us if you have the idea. Enlighten us on how we can make this a bigger platform for everybody. Because I know it can reach even to the people down in the villages if we decide to do it. And my final submission was on Nane, because that's the title of today's topic. And one thing I know is that Nane is going to be huge, and that will be a make or break for this movement. Because guys, you need to realize we are going for a war. The government is not sitting pretty waiting for us to show up. They know Nane is going to be big, and they're also preparing for it, right? So we also need to be mentally prepared. As besides the fact that we are physically prepared, we have to be mentally prepared to know that Nane is going to be something huge. The government is going to push back in a big way. I read online, and I said this on another platform, I think yesterday. I have read 2 tweets that the government is training goons in Boni Forest, which is at the coast. In my mind, I was thinking, is that why the president has been at the coast for a long time, that they're preparing goons for Nane? I don't want to sell fear, but I'm just putting it out there so that as we go around preparing for Nane, we have this information. It may not be true, but it's better to have this information and prepare for it than to shun it and then it turns out to be true. So as we prepare for Nane, we are going for war. Let's prepare even the people who are planning to travel from up country. I would advise that don't travel as a group. You never know. Goons might just get into those buses, right? And something happens. So if you're traveling, have your team, but don't travel as a group. Kila mtu apande their shuttles or their buses, get to Nairobi, and group once you're in Nairobi, even in accommodation spaces. Be careful how you go through accommodations, because we have goons out here. We have people who are all against all this movement. So we have to be very careful. We will have goons on that day as we march forward. We have goons marching against us. So Nane is going to be a war, and it's going to be a make or break for us. Some people will give up if that does not succeed, but the thing is, we have to keep marching forward. We have to ensure that whatever we started, it comes out successfully. It doesn't matter when. It can be tomorrow, it can be Nane, it can be a month from today, it can be wherever, but let's keep up this spirit. Thank you, Esther. Thank you, KOT. Those will be my submissions.
Asante sana Liz. Let's have Josephine. Josephine, are you present? Josephine. Can anyone hear Josephine, or is it my internet? Josephine, what's up? Josephine? Okay, I'm dropping Josephine. We have Ruben. Ruben, say hi to us.
Hi, guys. It's nice to be able to participate in the space. And thank you for having me. Very, very wonderful ideas and suggestions. I'll be very brief. I have three things. First of all, I want to really, really encourage you that you can do it. I mean, this revolution can be won. And I want to say I'm with you all the way. For many that are listening tonight, especially those that have not encountered me before, I need to indicate that physically, I'm actually blind. I've been blind since I was 3 years. So my entire life has been about struggle, fighting the system that discriminates you and tells you can't go to school, you can't, work, you can't do what. But by God's grace, I teach at the university now, and I'm involved in a lot of social activism. I was on the streets in Eldoret. I have been on the streets in Nairobi. I've been on the streets in Mombasa, supporting the revolution. And so I want to challenge each and every one of you that is afraid. If me, as a blind person, can participate in this, and there are pictures to show, so I'm not putting up stories. If I can participate, you can participate as well. So I want to challenge us not to give up until this thing is finished. Secondly, I want to say we can use multiple means in order to prepare for Nane. Those of us that can call into radio stations in the mornings, especially talk shows or whenever, piga radio, ghetto radio, piga, hata kama ni vernacular, if you're able to speak vernacular, talk about Nane, encourage guys to turn out. But also, as one of the comrades here said, you can do it on the matatus, wherever you're traveling. Let's do it in the estates, door to door, person to person. And let us also extend it to WhatsApp groups and your private chats. Let people know it is Nane, we are turning out. The last thing I would like to challenge, especially those that are below 35. I'm above 35 myself. And so I've been in this struggle for a while. If you check online, you'll find that. I want to challenge each and every one of you that is 35 and below. Young people are not leaders of tomorrow. And so much as it is good to be part of the revolution and get the results, I want to challenge as many of you as possible. Whenever an opportunity arises to run for elective office, run for office. Many of you are graduates with degrees, with expertise, some experience here and there, with masters, you can be the leaders of this country. So tuanze kujipanga vile tunaweza jaza hizo position na watu young ambao wameona mbele. The submissions I've had on these spaces, kwa Americs na hapa na several other actually, inaonyesha the youth are ready. they are ready. So begin to prepare, think about it, and you can DM me. We talk about how to prepare you for participation, and take up kama ni MCA, MP, governors, senators, at a president. I mean, who said you can't be? So I want to challenge you to participate. So after Ruto goes, so what? We have to have a totally new dispensation of people that think different, that love this country, that are that do not judge on the basis of what they have or where they come from. So I want to challenge you. It can be done. It has been done in other countries, and you are not relenting. Don't let me down. Let us do it. Asante.
Asante sana, Ruben. Maybe I would love to read a comment here for Wakili. Please, Wakili, kindly inbox. I share my contact so that tomorrow you might help me further with the petition, please. I feel Wakili is the one with the Wakili. That is Wakili. I don't know, it's who?
No, this
Wait a minute.
Ndegwa.
Is it Ndegwa? Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Kiswahili inanichanganyanga kidogo. Wakili. Wakili means what in English? Those who are good in Kiswahili, help me. Just shout. All right. No one is ready. Okay.
Wakili is a lawyer.
Oh, asante. Doctor, go ahead. Dr. Dot. Kuna wenye wamejiandika daktari. I think doctor. Go ahead.
Excuse me, in fact, I was just having my dinner. Asante sana kwa space, and appreciate for the time offered. Mine ni kwenda kuuliza swali moja, ndio kila mtu anielewe. Nataka kuuliza hii swali wa Kenya. Kenya, sio sisi ambao tunapose gava. Hata these are the Kenyans, the ones in the side of the government. I want to ask them this one fact. Explain to me how somebody who believes his God-given right anaweza kuua na asifanye kitu, you expecting that person to ever give you your freedom. See, you look at history, you start going back, and you see what was perpetuated by the colonies when it came down there, what they left. Then you'll understand the system which has been operating down there. The fact that we have made humanity become worthless. Because I shatter, or I fail to understand how somebody can actually do the atrocity which he did on the 25th of June and still be in front of people. And people sit there, Kenyans sit there, clapping for him and listening at him. I mean, how often are we in our souls? How evil can we be? Is it because he wasn't my brother, he wasn't my sister, he wasn't my cousin, where is humanity? Where is humanity, guys? Because we talk too much, we've been talking on X and all that, but where is humanity? And this is why I didn't direct it on our side. I directed even to the side of the government. You need to understand that. So this is a collective call for Kenyans, because that's why I indicated that I didn't focus on our side. I focus on both sides. I'm standing for Kenya, and I've always said this because we talk a lot on X, but literally when you switch your phone or your laptop or your gadgets and you walk out there, what defines you from the one who has been radical here or have been passionate about to the people who are out there? What separates you? Or what defines you? That you can engage people, or people can start engaging you, start asking you, why are you doing this, or why are you like this?
There's nothing. And I've always said, I try to push this idea that tafuta scarf ya Kenya, funga hata kama ni kwa kichwa, hata kama ni kwa jeans, hata kama ni kwa shingo, wear it. Let that be a symbol of what we're fighting for, a better nation, a better motherland, a better Kenya for each and every one of us. We cannot sell our land, and I mean, we cannot sell our soul to the devil and sell the only thing which defines us, our land, that is Kenya. So please, spread the word. People walk in the kazini, kama unaenda biashara yako, just carry a Kenyan flag, tie it somewhere with you, take it with you everywhere. Let that be a symbol of what defines you and what you are wishing to lay your life down for the future of yourself, your children, and the generation to come. Thanks a lot for the good time. Stay blessed. Nane pamoja.
Asante sana, Daktari. I feel the energy because I can also hear another energy from behind. Anyway, VK, go ahead.
Hi people, how are you? Thank you for letting me be on space. I think this is my first time to speak on space. Currently I'm not in the country, but wherever I am, I will still continue championing whatever that is taking place in Kenya and this movement. I'd want to say that it's not just about the movement, it's about we as Kenyans. I have a few things. First of all is to rest in peace to the fallen heroes, and for sure we will not let that blood go down the ground without continuing with the fight and whatever we started. One, I'd want to air out my anger, like it's with utmost disgust for Ruto and his government, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And anyone who's in this space who's trading our democracy for us to be silenced, shame on you for your own selfish interests. Then the other thing is, I'd want to say that if you can be able to do civic education through animations, through stories within the communities, within the villages, uko ndio shida iko, especially with these border people, mama mbogas, all they rely on is just zile news wanaona kwa TV, of which na tunaona sahi it's already hijacked. The other thing I want to say is, I'd listed them down, sorry. There is no way we can stand as young people and let our own parents silence us. Personally, today I had hiccups with my mom because she told me, can you stop posting whatever you're posting, especially using your number? And I was like, no one will silence me in fear, and I'm not fearing to say that Ruto must go and Nane must be there, and I will continue championing, and in whatever way I can contribute, as much as I'm far away, in whatever way I can contribute as a Kenyan, I will always do that. And I want to thank everyone who's inputting information here. We are learning a lot. We are getting to understand a lot that is happening in the country. Trust me, mi sikuwa najua vitu zingine, nimekuja kuzijua juzi. So nimeanza tu kukua ka activist out of nowhere, but it's because of the things that we are learning. And I'd want to tell people that huku nje kwenye tunafanya kazi hizi majuu mnasikia, it's not easy either way. In these countries they also have policies, they have rules. First they embrace their own people in terms of employment. So sijui mkiambiwa mtoke Kenya mkuja na huku mnakuja kufanya nini. It's really hard surviving out here. One, we have no social life, we have no good food. Anytime we try to come back to Kenya, we are trying to unatry kukula zile vitu zenye zitarudisha damu nini and what. And here you are being told ati mtapewa pesa mu travel nje. There is no jobs out here. Let's work on our country. Let's push this government out. Ruto should be one person who should be thinking of how to revive industries. Ukiangalia EPZ ile inakuanga Kitengela. We cannot be making our own jeans to sell them to these Western countries, alafu zinakuwa branded Tommy Hilfiger, unakuja kuinunua tena Kenya at 15,000 ama at 20,000. That's insane. I don't think I have much more to add on. It's just to thank everyone. God bless Kenya. And personally, I'm not giving up on this. Ruto must go. Mwingia Kenya kanatoka. I'm privileged enough to make it to Kenya every now and then. but I will not stop championing for this movement. Whether it's through Mchanga, whatever platforms you have, I will continue pushing for it. I'll continue reposting, putting it on my status, and hata nikimitwa tu kazini, especially watu wa diaspora. By the way, most of them wako tu ati wanasema nini, as in most of them they don't know what's really happening. So if we can get an avenue of where we can hold these Twitter spaces to the public, that will be a very good thing. And yes, thank you very much, and do have a good night wherever I am. Yeah, bye bye.
Wow, very insightful, very insightful. I'm sure there are a lot of VKs here who are, when you post something, your mama or your father is just like, unadu, wewe unafanya nini? Anyway, it's not an easy journey, I'm telling you, it's not an easy journey. We are fighting a lot, Glass.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I would like to start by saying thank you for hosting this space, co-hosting this space, and everyone who has contributed on this space. This is the first space I feel like I'm in tune with everyone who's speaking. Everyone is saying my thoughts, everyone is sharing whatever I was supposed to do. I'll just like to have a few words and say that a people united can never be defeated. If you repeat that in yourself, you'll understand that it motivates you to realize that you can take this country back to where it's supposed to be. So our time is now, and our time is now. And one thing I need to add on civil education is that I've experienced this. Today I was driving my car. I happened to have someone join me in my car, and he was a mechanic. And in our conversation, I was listening to space. And he was wondering why I'm in politics, and I'm listening to politics, and in my career I have no interest. I've never been interested in politics. There and then I realized that these guys don't know what is happening in this country. There are so many people down here, the motorbike people, the mechanics don't understand what is going on in this country. They're telling us, you leave these guys alone. They don't understand. And from there and then I started talking about what we were hearing from space, using the economics. Who was saying that he used the analogy of who during his time. He said that 2 billion is being stolen on a daily basis. He calculated the 2 billion in an entire year was going to go to 600. He went further and told everyone in Spice FM that 600 billion. The doctors who are striking, they're striking to get a salary of 200,000. If 500,000 would be given to each doctor, and registered doctors are about 9,000. Those doctors can be paid for 14 years. There will never be a strike for 14 years. He gave another example that the roads here in the entire country of Kenya, they're like 16,000 kilometers. That money alone is enough to make 12,000 kilometers, to do a road worth 12,000 kilometers. According to using the analogies of the transport, saying that they're using 50 million per kilometer to make roads. He was very educated. He was talking about the schools. He told the school people that in universities, there are like 600 universities being registered on a yearly basis, and there are like 600,000 university students being registered on a yearly basis. On a budget of 200,000 per year, 600,000 students could be paid for their entire school fees without adding any cents for like the whole, until they finish an entire 4 years. As we were continuing to discussing, this guy was being enlightened. There and then I realized that these people don't know. So I want to urge everyone in this space that they should take their time during their working hours, during their day-to-day runnings, that if they see someone who does not know and we are getting this information from space, we should share the same. I want to conclude by saying that a people united can never be defeated. Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Baro Bibi.
Thank you very much. This is my first time to speak in space. I haven't gotten the opportunity. First of all, let me send my condolences to those who passed on 25th during the protest. My first point that I want to put across is that most of the institutions in Kenya are not working. That's why we have to come out in large numbers on 8/8 so that we can push for these institutions so that they can work and benefit the Kenyans. For example, I've done engineering. There is this board we call Engineering Board of Kenya. For example, you go in an institution, you do a course. This course is uncredited. Then, when you finish your education, you come here and start tamaking, and you are told the course was not accredited. And these courses were approved by the Commission of Education. And yet you pay school fees for 5 years, you pay school fees for 4 years, and yet you don't benefit from this at the end. When I was schooling back in 2014, there is this company which was called Eveready. It was very smart. It is just at the roundabout in Nakuru. And they gave me motivation that when I could finish schooling, I could get job in Eveready or any other company like Mumias. But these companies are all closing down. Where are we heading to all as Kenyans? Who is our savior? Who is our savior? So on 8/8, let us come out in large numbers. I have heard Dr. Onyango talking about people missing exams. It's very hurting. People are missing exams somewhere, and people somewhere are roasting money, showing money. It's immoral. We have to change this. We have to come into a conversation table so that we can make all things right. All things must be made right from the beginning, and this will happen on 8/8. Finally, I'm sorry to Dr. Kigami. You are fighting for us. You are fighting for the justice of the Kenyans. May God bless you. Thank you, Kenyans.
Asante sana Baro. Omino. And then we have Dennis.
Yes. Many thanks, guys. I think this is quite a good opportunity for us to keep engaging and discussing more. First of all, I'm saddened by the fact that we really lost a number of us in this fight that is quite involving. It really involves a lot, and I think we are reading from the same pages. Though a few of us, I think, sometimes tend to divert. I don't know whether it's a matter of self-interest or for some reasons they are threatened, but I really want to look at the history and where we are coming from. Yes, it's by the fact that we really walked along journey. Where we are politics and leadership. But putting facts clear, there is one element that I think plays a major role, which is to do with leadership. I had one of us talking about representation, and I think representation is very key. What has really ruined the minds of the majority of the youth or the young people of Kenya is that they are too much into politics and very limited when it comes to leadership. In the last 2 weeks, I have been traveling various parts of the East Africa, and specifically being in Kenya, I've had conversations with a number of people regarding what is going on, where we are currently after the protests that we had, and I think we still remain divided as a people, not realizing that we are fighting a battle that we should not stop. At one point, we had our forefathers. They fought this fight for freedom, and we had this freedom. But the freedom that we have seems like we went back into the hands of the colonialists, so we don't enjoy that freedom at all. But then we are supposed to focus on where we are heading to. Like, we cannot play the same game every day and expect to have a different result. If we are moving a journey, and of course we are looking forward to not giving up, then that should be the course. For me, seeing youths being manipulated politically, someone just coming up and then all of a sudden they're summoned maybe to some meeting somewhere and they fall off the journey. Like, I really find myself, it saddens me so much. Like, what is the cause of the fight? Have the youths become so greedy to the point that they cannot really feel that they're supposed to have a force together? They're supposed to set them forward. Like, how united are we that we can move together as a solid team and ensure that the end game is achieved? We are not talking about the Nane here. This is a big one. But are we all ready to get there? Because at the end of the day, things can be messy. I like the advice that has been given here, of course, in terms of traveling. How do you manage your travel preparations, accommodation, and all that? Yeah, they're very important. I always advise, do not walk with the crowds all the time until you get to a point where you can converge. But in the preparation stage, be very careful. And I'm very sure in this country, the youth who are so learned, in fact, it is just disappointing that the political class and our leadership in this country, which are not even leaders, are not even as learned as the youth who are jobless are. Where we have the DCI, I will tell you that the people on the ground who are currently students and out of colleges and still furthering their studies are more equipped with knowledge and can even tell what the government cannot even tell, what the DCI cannot even inform the government in preparation for any chaos that might erupt anytime. So we are smart, but can we really invest in this smartness so that we can also move forward to the point that the government will find us ahead of them, and we must keep it. So I want us, as the young people, let's support and stand with each other, whatever the cause is. Let's support and stand with each other, because we have been in this mess for a long time. Look at the elements of accountability. Just then I was seeing the governor for Isiolo, I don't know, having spent some 500 and something million on other expenditure. Can we really even have understanding of what the county government spends and what are other expenditure? When somebody comes to you with this kind of issues, how do you relate with them? Because the system has been corrupted to the point that even the people who are supposed to help us fight, the different departments, now we have the police here killing us instead of protecting us. We have the judiciary being manipulated to oppress the poor. Like, if you have nothing and you've stolen, you are the one who will be asked to pay something to be maybe left. To be freed, that is. And then you have somebody who's going to steal billions of shillings and they cannot even be arrested. Like, do you really have an understanding of how these chains work, how the systems are manipulated? We cannot keep having an eye on the same message every day and still believe that we're going to walk to the right direction. When it comes to matters politics, I really have a feeling that we have not really taken our steps right. Some days back, I started, I was telling a few people that why can't we just identify people in different parts of the country, even in the legislature? Can we have representation of people from different parts of the country who will come forward and we support them? The person who talked about no political party, I partially agreed with you, but it is by fact that we cannot go leaderless forever. Let's just be honest. We might want to have it for a very good reason, which I know. It's because if we have a leader, he will manipulate it, and we don't want to get there. But let's also think, can we really march up to the very end with no leader? Where will we? Then that means we are going to move at a force and everybody will be involved. And nobody is supposed to sit back and watch, but we're going to move together. Even if it's a matter of being killed. Yes, those of us who are in the front, let us be killed. Those of us who will remain will take things from there and move forward. But at least still at that point, we will have somebody who will still lead and take command. And command the people. so that you can listen. He can maybe guide and set. I mean, have a clear direction for us to move forward. So we might not have the leader in the picture. But truth be told, at one point you will really have that leader. The only fear is the manipulation that happens in this country, whether it is at the political level, at leadership level, of course. I think if any of you are keen about the emergence of Babu Wine in politics, the emergence of Simba Ratio of Kisii, if you look at those young thugs, the likes of Ababu Namwamba, Kenyans, the youths really admired the fact that they are seeing youthful leaders in this country. But let's be honest, how long did it take for some malice to happen behind the scenes or wherever they happen, that now some of these youthful leaders have been associated with bad things that we didn't expect? Ask yourself. I think there's a problem. Either it is a system manipulation, or it is people who go forth to stand with the youths, but then at some point they fall off. Look at somebody like Jalango as well. I don't know. He plays his politics 50-50. He doesn't know whether he's supposed to support. Yeah, and I just wrapping up. Sorry. Yeah. So I think we just have to see, look at the mirror, look at yourself, see what's happening, and look at that side of things, and we can really have a better way of doing things. Yeah. Thank you so much, and let's keep it Nane. We shall get there. Thank you.
Asante sana Omino. Dennis, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, madam, for this opportunity you have granted unto me. Hashtag Ruto must go. This is because of what is going on around the nation. And for me, I can tell my team that this is worth taking a loan from the bank and send this guy home. If you see today what has happened or what have been noticed from the city mortuary, it's a reason that can send you to do these revolutions. Kindly, guys, let us go out and make sure this thing is done and come out successful. Thank you, madam.
Asante sana. Markman. Duncan. Wait a minute. If you're not present, I'm telling you, I'm dropping you. Markman, Markman, Markman. You're not present. Duncan, Duncan, go ahead. Frontina, are you present, Frontina? Josephine, had you spoken? Go ahead, Josephine.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you so much. It has been long. I've waited since 7. Anyway, thank you so much. I want to take this opportunity to say good evening to fellow Kenyans wherever you are, and also those who are, it's morning out at their timeline. Good morning. Yeah, I'm Josephine from Mombasa. I had my colleague from Mombasa who was just talking like we are really doomed. But what I want to tell you guys, I want to take you to the direction on how to settle this issue once and for all. And now I just want to unveil what is really what has been happening and what is taking us, and even what makes you feel scared. First and foremost, the greatest problem we have right now and what is taking place in our position is the Shakahola sacrifice, and that is sacrifice at the Kware. These are the sacrifices which have been given so that to scare you up. In the spiritual world, for those who have listened to me some few days ago, I was explaining how things do happen in the spiritual realm for them to come and prevail in the physical world. And having said that, for the Nane to come to pass, if we agree, I will prepare a daily prayer whereby we are going to do the prayer for 7 days. If we agree, we can either put it at 3 o'clock or at 1 o'clock during the day, so that we are able to first silence the sacrifices which has been offered through Shakahola and any other altar which we do not know where the sacrifices are being taken. We silence those tombs, we silence those sacrifices, and then now we march spiritually in the spiritual world, destroying each and every sacrifice, so that we can stand firm for the next 7 days. And by the 7th day, we shall blind each and every power which has been raising up. Remember, even the people of Mombasa, munafikiria ni pesa wamepewa. Those monies are taken in the graves. Sinaoshwa na maji ya matanga na sinanenewa maneno. Then after that, you are given that money. That money, somebody says, against it and says, anybody who receives this money, let them always come rushing to me like people who are coming for burial. And you can imagine for burial how many people flood in those areas. And these words really work because it's a sacrifice which has been given against that, and it is being used to her against us, and without knowing, we are there fighting, and then we start feeling we are shaken because now this sacrifice, what is really happening if people are not responding? It's not about people are not responding. They have been offering the Shakahola sacrifice, and I have evidence, and I know what has been happening in the spiritual world, and that's why I am not a pastor. I am a mere Catholic Christian, but I'm willing to take you through for 7 days. We destroy all the tombs, whichever sacrifice has been put. We destroy it completely. We bring it down completely. And by the 7th day, we shall stand our victory and blind each and every power of evil which is arising in this country. For sure, I can assure you, these people will resign, even they will leave the office before we get there. Reason being, once we paralyze the powers that they have been standing on, once we paralyze those sacrifices which they've been standing on, no matter how unholy the sacrifices are, they always work. But once we destroy them in the spiritual world, those sacrifices will not work again for them. At the moment the sacrifices are not working again for them, then automatic tutakuwa tumeshinda, and we will have won in the spiritual world, and in the physically, on the Nane we shall be there just picking our victory without even fight, without retaliation, without anything. So I kindly urge you, if we agree, I will prepare an itinerary on how we are going to do the prayers for the next 7 days from fast. Then I'll be sharing with it, and we agree as from 3 o'clock we shall be hosting within the platform wherever we'll be hosted. We shall be there and give it at least 20 to 30 minutes, so that we go in the spiritual world with the way I'll be guiding. We break, we destroy, we demolish with the word of God, and make sure that nothing remains standing up. By the 7th day, I can assure you, this country will be free, and all of us will be free, and you shall realize that we will not have any fear any longer. Remember one thing, anyone who has the Lord on their side, they have nothing to fear. And the word of God says that in Isaiah 54 verse 17, it says, no weapon fashioned against us shall prosper, and every tongue which shall raise against you, you shall condemn. It's us to condemn those tongues. It's us to condemn any word and rub any word that has been written. Any covenant, we break it. Once we break all these covenants on our behalf of our nation, and on behalf of the leadership of this country, I can tell you we will have cleared each and everything. That's what I strongly felt that I want to do. We want to do, because this is something spiritual, and as much as we keep on fighting, we need to fight with all the weapons that we have. And the weapon that we have, which is very strong weapon, by the time we break all that, and then people go for prayers in their respective churches, and if you have to offer sacrifice, wherever you utaona unataka kutoa sandaka, you just give your sacrifice through, hata kwa mtu ambaye ni maskini yuko barabarani, you buy some food with anything small, and that sacrifice we join the sacrifice of Calvary. I can tell you nothing will ever stand again in our way, and we shall win this battle the way the Israelites, the walls of Jerusalem, the walls of Jericho fell off after the 7 days. That's the same thing will happen in our country, and our enemies will start fighting against themselves, and they will leave. I assure you, they shall leave. So kindly, can we agree? If we are in agreement, we will do that. I will prepare the prayers before fast. Then we
May you wind up?
Yes. Sorry?
May you wind up?
I'm actually winding up. That's what I'm saying. We get prepared so that we can do the prayers and stop everything for ourselves and cleanse us and move forward. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. So may God bless us as we forge forward for that Nane. And things will come, people will come up from Mombasa where you think there are no people. Because after breaking those sacrifices, people will be free from those oaths and they shall come out and fight for their justice. Thank you so much and God bless you.
JM, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Es, and thank you for the contributions. Arike, this is your friend Esmond. Apologies, I'm using a different account. Okay, I would just really want to appreciate the spirit and the power and the conviction that we have. And also thank you, Josephine, for sharing that. But I just want to tell you that the biggest stronghold we have is the people are taking bribes from the politicians. Some of these things, they actually just things in our heads that have completely destroyed us. But I don't want to go into that. Let me make a quick submission here. Nane is a big deal, and I think there is nothing that scares your enemy other than the numbers. It's going to be bad if there's anybody that's going to be left behind. So my encouragement is that we mobilize as much as we can, but remember that we are dealing with somebody who was brought to power through prayers, and every single time that he realizes that he is being cornered by the movement, he runs to the church. He did it by inviting them as the first group to the State House. And after he has done some kind of weird alliance with Raila, then he runs now to the church and to the podium. My biggest challenge is that I don't think we are dealing with somebody who is actually mentally okay. It is one of the worst things I have ever seen on somebody who even believes their own lies. Or who thinks everybody else in this country is stupid and is the only smartest person in the room. Friends, the challenge we are dealing with, I've started to believe that this is a man that is already really dealing with a psychiatric challenge, of which if he doesn't come out and create a room for him to lie to people, then he does not have the power. So his power really is vested in either going to lie and going to sanitize himself in the pulpit. So that is what we need to deny themselves. And that's why I was debunking, and I think we were together somewhere, I was debunking this idea of people telling the young people that if a politician comes and gives you money, take it, but you know what you are doing. That is the worst evil I have to deal with. Do not take money from a politician, because that is exactly what is causing this problem that we are dealing with, friends. We are confronting people who have mastered the art of manipulation, but also who look at us and think that because these people are poor or in their definition of poverty, then we can control them because they know. Let's amass all the monies that we can amass, and then we know when the time comes, we will control them. If there is a time that we need to show them that their money is useless, it's actually filthy, like filthy rags, this is the time. This movement has the power to show them that whatever you have